First of all, Tesla was not understood while he was alive and really kind of fell into the trap of the world said, no, what you're trying to do is stupid. People actually told him that, right? They said, the way you are going about this is wrong. Not, gosh, it might work. Gosh, it's cool. It's an interesting idea, but you're wrong. The way you are doing this, young man, is wrong. You are going to fail.
Entrepreneurs, if you've been following my behind the scene, I've been working very hard to find entrepreneurs outside of the usual states that I get. Had a chance to connect with a great guest today on LinkedIn. He's got an inspiring story that stems from working at Microsoft to him actually owning a company through there. So for today, we are welcoming Scott. Thank you so much for joining that entrepreneur show.
Happy to be here.
Oh, I can't wait to dive into your story a little more. We had our prep call last week. We dove into his journey a little bit, and there are a lot of golden nuggets along the way, whether you're in the software space or not. But if this is your first show with us, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to sit with us in this great entrepreneurial community. Week after week since 2019, we have guests like Scott come on the show, share not only the pretty stuff, what looks good, but also how they got to this level. We'll go back to where I just previewed to start the show today. He started at Microsoft, still has some ties, but a lot grew from there. Let's talk about when you first got to Microsoft, and then we'll see this evolution unfold.
Sure. Actually, I really started out as a school teacher before I went to Microsoft. I was employee number 44,000 globally for Microsoft, which I think they're like at 130,000, now, and probably churned through, 10,000 employees a year. When I was there, it was all about the entrepreneurial spirit, right? Go figure out what you are passionate about with the technology and go make it happen. So I really loved it. I mean, I got a chance to really build a business out of nothing, which in a big company is rare, right? I mean, if you're in a big company, you don't get to build a business normally. But I did. I got to build a business. And that really got me the desire to start doing that more often, to actually build new things. That's kind of my Microsoft story to start.
I love how you had your foot in the door. You're using all of these tools around you to create something special on your own. Let's now show love to that special project.
Well, I mean, I have a company called Creative Technology and Innovation. It's really focused on two things. If you listen to my podcast, you'll hear me talk about utilizing John Boyd's OODA loops to help companies make better decisions. John Boyd was a U.S. Air Force colonel, most famous as a Air Force pilot. And why is he famous? Because in a 60-second dogfight, no one ever, right? The way they do a dogfight in the Air Force, right, is called tagging. When your system locks onto somebody, they're tagged. Right, they're it, right? No one ever tagged John Boyd in his entire Air Force career flying a jet. And he looked at, all the different things. So he built this framework called OODA loops: observe, orient, decide, act. And then you have feedback loops within that, right? Because if you consider the reality of where the world is, it's not always easy to make a good decision unless you fully grasp, or to steal from Heinlein, grok, what it is the decision is about. But you also have to consider the orientation of the observer in the process, right? I know scientists always say the act of observation modifies the experiment. And Boyd kind of took that to heart and said, okay, well, wait a minute. So we really help organizations do that. And then lately, I've been focused on AI training and really trying to help organizations get past the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? Because AI is terrifying. It's going to replace your job. It's going to replace your mother. It's going to replace your father. It's going to replace your dog. It may replace you directly, and highly likely it's going to drive you to work, but it's going to take you whatever way it freaking wants to go, right? So ultimately, everybody's scared of AI. And so I've actually built this really interesting model. I call it AURA: awareness, understanding, refinement, and of course, application. So that's kind of what CTI does right now. And we don't usually go by the big name, because if you look at my email address, it's like 68 characters long. And, you have to remember, did he say creative technology and innovation, or was it an ampersand? We organizationally, we always go by CT ampersand I.
Well, It's inspiring already to see that just branching out in related areas. You said it perfectly. AI can be very scary to people who have not delved into it very deeply. If you could shout out a few AI tools, give the listeners some love here. Which AI tools would you recommend for a more generic level?
So out on LinkedIn, I have a group called Aura Training. And in that, I've actually released lesson one, or will be releasing the full lesson one for my AI training module. I actually have another place where you can go get the whole thing, but obviously there's money there, right? Because it took me a lot of time to build it. But in that, and you've asked the perfect question, right? Because ultimately, what it is that I'm trying to do in that initial training, that initial module, is just get people aware of what's out there. And I'll tell you, there's a number of tools, right? So Claude GPT, very good tool. Meta, which is just Meta, is a very good tool. Then you've got Copilot, which comes from Microsoft, which is an adaptation of the OpenAI product. You have the OpenAI, ChatGPT, which is another great. You have Perplexity, which is another one. And then there's a bunch of kind of open source and free models, depending upon what you're doing. So when you look at each of these models, right, each of them has a strength. I use Perplexity almost every day for search. It's really good at search. In fact, you're going to see Google, Microsoft, and ChatGPT and OpenAI bring out their own chat engines that focus on search because search is a big deal. So that's one. I use that one all the time. The rest of them, you really have to go figure out what it is that makes you comfortable with the AI chatbot. Because if you're someone that likes sarcasm, right? You want to ask dumb questions and you want the AI to go, dude, that's a dumb question. Well, Grok is the AI you want. You go into Grok, you go into the settings on x.ai, and you change your Grok settings to say, I want Grok to be sarcastic, right? And Grok is happy to say, okay, I'll start being sarcastic. If you're looking for, quick and dirty code, right? I want to write a web page and I want to create, I don't know, 5 pages really quickly. I would go to Perplexity or I would go to Claude because literally both of those tool sets will throw up a window and show you the actual code working, show you the code that they've generated working. So you can go take a look at it. You can play with it. You can implement it. I've actually implemented a couple of websites very quickly for customers to kind of help them implement the Aura model. I've taken the follow-up questions that I have, right? Because I have 5 phases in the Aura stage: awareness, right? How do you go to the next stage, which is understanding, right? So if you have awareness of AI, you're no longer scared of AI. The next is understanding. How do I directly use it? What can it do to impact me? How can I do that, right? So I've helped a couple of customers build their initial aware page with, I probably have more than 90 links to YouTube videos at this point. It's quick and dirty and easy that way. But that way, we've got this concept of here's your page. We literally, customer happens to be a really good friend of mine. And we sat on a conference call. We wrote it, the entire website in Claude GPT in about 10 minutes and put it out, built it, had it up and running. Right. This is not like the pretty logo you have behind you, right? This is not art. This is quick and dirty internal website to get people up and running, right? This is not, hey, we have a really cool logo or, we have this beautiful page. Right? This is not Microsoft.com. This is the web page that you build on the backside of Microsoft that nobody else ever sees.
That makes complete sense. Thank you for adding all this value. I learned a few things. I can't thank you enough. I'm glad I asked that because I hope everyone listening on, these are the type of questions I like asking because this is value that not everybody may have. Again, to reiterate again, you said it very well. People are scared of AI because as you get older, we don't want to learn new things. We like what we like, and I get it. It just is. But people with AI skills may be better prepared for your role than someone without any AI skills. I don't think we're at the point of a physical robot kicking us out of the office or taking our job, but this is what it is. We can't sit back and watch it all happen because we'll just keep falling more and more apart. Everyone, stick around to the end of the show. Coming up, we'll find out exactly how to get these resources he's described on his website. But I want to dive a little deeper into your situation with the Microsoft and your company. What are your biggest, I guess I could say, not hate points, just which areas do you least like from the other area? I know for me, I am working alone almost the entire day, every day. Being back in an environment with a lot of people may be a bit distracting.
There are things that I like to do as a human being. You have a voice for podcasts. You have a great voice. You're very personable. You have a very nice smile, right? You're really good at this. And because of that, you like doing it. It's something that you're building on, right? Well, I like being an advanced tech person. I like taking a look at the art of the possible beyond, right, the normal range, right? Companies always say, "Oh, we're going to look 18 months into the future." Eh, 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 in the words of the guy that just jumped in to save the bullfighter and the bull ran into him and knocked him back into the stands, oops, I miscalculated, right? Oops, I was a little short. Oops, I didn't quite do it, right? Well, that's the problem with that 18-month window. So I like being able to go way beyond 18 months. I like being able to drive out to see, what is possible in 3, 4 years. Because I do think in 3 or 4 years, that robot's going to be sitting next to you. Now, he's not going to be doing your job, right? Because what the robot's not going to be ready to do is be what they're calling AGI. First of all, I hate the term artificial intelligence. And the reason I hate the term artificial intelligence is right now, today, I don't care. You pick whatever chat engine, whatever chat system you like. You pick your favorite and type in "the duck swam across" and hit enter. See what it does. It's going to return something: pond, lake, stream. Depends on the programming, depends on the data set of the large language model, right? Blah, blah, blah. The reality is that's machine intelligence. I would expect that, by the way, from a 4-year-old. If I ask a 4-year-old human, "Hey, I saw a duck swimming across," the little kid's going to go, pond, lake, stream, whatever they're familiar with, right?
Yeah.
They are going to be an autocomplete large language model at age 4. That's machine intelligence, right? So when we start talking about this concept in the future, right? And I love your analogy, right? That robot's not going to kick you out yet, right? Okay. Well, fair enough. I doubt robots are going to kick out people in your role for 30, 40 years from now. Right? When you're ready to retire, robots are finally going to say, "Okay, okay, we're going to replace you. We're ready to take your job, but we need you around because we need you to coach us on those hard to ask questions." Because the human being is going to say, "The duck swam across." The other human being is going to look at him and go, "I'm sorry, where were you standing when you saw the duck?" "Well, I was standing by a flooded roadside." "Oh, so the duck swam across a flooded road." "Yeah, it was really cool. I have no idea what the duck was doing, but the duck and the ducklings took off across a flooded road." The large language model would have answered pond, lake, or stream. It would have had the wrong answer. That's machine intelligence, right? That's what we're looking at. That's the reality of. And so I like to be able to look at that stuff. I like to be able to go and say, "Okay, Scott, what's going to happen when all of this matures, when all of this is ready to rock and roll?" I look at jobs, I look at people, I look at roles, and I start thinking, okay, is this role at risk? Because I'll tell you right now, teachers not going to be at risk for AI replacing them for years. But teachers that are smart are going to embrace AI because it's going to take care of massive problems that every classroom teacher has. How do you deal with gifted kids? And how do you keep repeating the lesson for the kid that just doesn't quite get it? Well, imagine a future where I can say, "Oh, well, okay, gifted kids, you really love dinosaurs. Awesome. Here's the AI system. Go learn everything about dinosaurs that this system can tell you and push it, break it," right? On the other side, the young person that's struggling, right? Maybe it's somebody that doesn't speak English as their first language and you're an English teacher, right? Maybe it's somebody that just doesn't get the concept, right? Well, now I have this large language model that not only can augment what the teacher's doing, but think about all the inputs. That large language model is going to have built in its system 100,000 ways people ask the question the kid was struggling with. So it can keep pounding back to the kid with a different iteration of the knowledge system, of the information. Now, all of a sudden, that beautiful phrase, which I was long out of teaching by the time it became in vogue, but "no child left behind," which sadly has never really worked out, but we suddenly could have a world where no child is left behind. You want to take your kids, you want to pick your kids up and move from the US to, I don't know, Fiji, right? Well, they'll be able to speak Polynesian in a time period, right? Kids are fast adaptive learners.
Yep.
This system means that teacher delivering the lesson in Polynesian can be auto-converted by the AI tutor to help that kid directly. I'm hearing it in English. I'm learning Polynesian at the same time, but now I have this capacity of being able to go anywhere, anytime, instant translation. It's like My favorite TV show shows how old I am, right? These gray hairs are not there from being pasted on. I don't paint them every morning. It would take me a long time. The old Star Trek show from years ago, the original series, right? Kirk used to go, Kirk here, right? Universal translator, right? And person could speak another language and Kirk would hear it in English and Kirk could speak or Spock could speak or
Yeah.
Bones or whoever wanted to speak. They could speak and it would be translated to that language. That's the future. That's what I like looking for, looking at, driving towards. Yeah, it's an amazing future.
That's gonna be really fun, having that ability to actually understand people, what they mean to say and what they actually intend to say. I wanna circle back to where you said
Yep.
the kids are they're sponges with their brains, and it's so true. Back in 2019, when I finally, after a few years of half-assing entrepreneurship, went all in, I needed some side hustles if I was gonna write my books and start these shows. I taught English to kids in Beijing, 4 to 10 a.m. Eastern, and they pick it up like nothing. They're picking up, they're learning, and
Yeah.
I like to think I'm a halfway decent educator with them, but then besides their brains, they're just picking up and grasping it, where I, 2 years ago now, started taking Spanish lessons here in Florida. A lot of the schools are mainly Spanish speaking or both. I wanted to find more ways in to get into as a speaker, get in to make a difference. I wrote a book in English and Spanish for toddlers, but it took me so long to just understand this language. A, it doesn't make sense very well compared to English. And I thought I took Italian in high school. This will be a piece of cake, but no. Definitely everyone out there, if kids are in your life, get them learning something cool young because they'll grasp it so well. You'll teach them a new skill. But before we get this great guest information on how to find them online, if you could choose any entrepreneur, Scott, dead or alive, to have a conversation with, and it could be at any point of your journey, it doesn't have to be present day, when you would need them most, who would you choose?
Nikola Tesla.
Love it. Let's talk.
First of all, Tesla was not understood while he was alive and really kind of fell into the trap of the world said, no, what you're trying to do is stupid. People actually told him that, right? They said, the way you are going about this is wrong. Not, gosh, it might work. Gosh, it's cool. It's an interesting idea, but you're wrong. The way you are doing this, young man, is wrong. You are going to fail. And Tesla said, no, no, I'm positive I'm right. I have the guts. I have perseverance. I know I will not fail. I actually just published my second book in April. It's a book of fiction, right? I published so many works of nonfiction, it's boring. But nonfiction isn't boring, right? I'm just saying I've done a lot of those, but it was my second work of fiction. And it's not the greatest book on earth, right? It's a story that was important to me. But to me, that was my Tesla moment, right? I persevered. I kept working on it. I kept doing it. I kept getting rejected. But eventually somebody said, yeah, you know what? We'll publish this. We'll make this into a book. That was my moment of being Tesla, right? Unfortunately for Nikola, and the reason I would love to talk to him now is I would love to say, hey, buddy, you were right. You were right on every single thing you predicted. You were absolutely, completely right. The only thing Edison had right was DC power is better for long distance transmission. And that's only because of innovations that have occurred in the last 5 years. Because up until now, DC sucked as far as power transmission. There's some things that people are doing and solid state batteries and things like that. The future will be DC, but yeah, Nikola Tesla, he's just an amazing human being.
Can't argue with the choice. I always say when people do, I love when people bring on titans of industry, these people that didn't have Google to sit back and check on. Been a lights out show. I'm really glad we had the chance to connect. Everyone, LinkedIn is a great tool. If you use it correctly, you can find a way to get your message.
I have my Patreon, so if you want to come and back the Aura project and try to, help me get it to the finish line, I do have a Patreon. It's at Doc Andersen, not because I'm a doctor. That's my nickname is Doc. It was given to me many years ago when I was at Microsoft by a coworker. We went to this team building event and she was like, okay, I'm going to give awards to people that did 100%. I'm terrified of heights. And this was one of those trust walk,
Oh,
go up on top of a telephone pole and stand, cross an open chasm on ropes, and I'm terrified of heights, but I did it. I didn't complain. I just kept trying. I did it. I got up there. I freaked out. Honestly, I was panicked. So she gave out awards. And so to me, she gave the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs the Doc character.
I love it.
So that's where my nickname came from all those years ago. But it's at Doc Andersen at Patron, Scott Andersen on LinkedIn, Anderson with an E. And then I also have a Reddit subreddit right now called AURA Training. People are welcome to join there. And like I said, I'm giving the aware part of it away forever for free. I'm going to have to charge for the others because there's a lot of work in it. But yeah, it's available and you can find me. And I'm at Doc Andersen on Twitter as well, or X, or whatever Elon's calling it this week.
Oh, man. Well, thank you for sharing all that. Everyone, be sure to get connected with him, especially if this is up your alley. It seems like we have no expert better than him. The show is at That Entrepreneur Show on all podcast platforms. Please subscribe and rate 5 stars if you enjoyed today's show. I am at Vincent A. Lancy on all social media and YouTube. And this show is brought to you by Coming Alive Podcast Production, your one-stop shop for podcasting needs. Head to comingalivepodcastproduction.com to learn more. But with that, we are signing off today. Scott, thank you so much once again.
Thank you. It was a blast.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I would love to hear your feedback. What did you love? What do you want to see more of? Are there any questions you would like me to ask the guests who come on the show? This show is not possible without you, the amazing listeners, so please email us at podcastbylancy@gmail.com and let us know what you think. We'll also feature you on a later show. Please remember to subscribe to stay current with our amazing community of guests who will continue to come on the show, sprinkled in with solo episodes from me, Vincent A. Lancy. With that, I look forward to introducing more shows to you each and every week. And with that, we're signing off today. Enjoy the episodes and make it a great day ahead.